The next 60 days are about to change everything in America. 30 days ago, I shared with you, 90 days from now, it was going to change everything. Pay attention. Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. are quietly stacking Bitcoin. But let me explain to you the mechanism of what is actually happening right now. You have to understand inflationary and deflationary. If you understand this at a deep level, you could start to transform your family's wealth timeline. Now, what's going to happen over the next 60 days as we head into August is you're going to start to see trade deals happen. You're going to see the tariff deals happen. You're going to start to see more money flood into America than you've ever seen before. Everything you're seeing is just a distraction. You're going to have more money in your pocket. There's going to be lower taxes. They're going to pass a Genius Act with the stablecoin regulation. Banks are going to start to get clarity on how to custody crypto, how to deal in crypto. They have to have clarity before they come in. And that's why the elites are quietly stacking Bitcoin, quietly stacking things like XRP, in my opinion. Well, not my opinion. It's right here. And here's why they're doing it, is we're in an inflationary system, a fiat dollar system that every single year you become poor. Since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, your dollar has collapsed 99%. And the dollar is the strongest currency in the world. Think about that. The strongest currency in the world has collapsed 99% since 1913 when the Federal Reserve was created. They're not federal, nor are they reserve. So let me say that again. It is the strongest currency in the world, the most dominant, and it's collapsed 99% since 1913. So as you sit there in the US dollar, which is supposed to be the strongest currency in the world, every single year, if you don't beat inflation, you become poor. This is why they're stacking Bitcoin. This is why BlackRock is now the largest holder in Bitcoin besides Satoshi. This is why Grayscale is one of the largest in Bitcoin. This is why Michael Saylor is the third largest in Bitcoin. This is why America is the #1 country holding Bitcoin. This is why the Trump family is stacking Bitcoin. This is why Ray Dalio, who was against Bitcoin, one of the largest, who retired from Bridgewater, is a billionaire economist and investor who wrote the book, The Changing World Order, who nailed and predicted what's happening, is now allocating about 5% into Bitcoin. This is why the third wealthiest person in Mexico is going 100% into Bitcoin. This is why you've seen Robert Kiyosaki go all in on Bitcoin. This is why you've seen people like Grant Cardone go from being anti-Bitcoin to now doing Bitcoin real estate. Should I continue on? This is why Rosie Rios, the 43rd Treasurer of the United States, sits on the board for Ripple, who's responsible for bringing in new currency. And I'll leave you with this. 95% of the supply of Bitcoin is gone. It's the most scarce asset in the world. This is interesting. If you can understand what I'm about to say, it'll click. And 95% of the public has zero exposure to crypto. So if 95% of the supply of Bitcoin is gone, only 5% is left. It's the most scarce asset in the world. They can't print any more of it, opposite of the US dollar, which is inflationary. And 95% of the public doesn't have exposure. Then who owns this? It's been the plan all along to switch us from an inflationary, collapsing US fiat monetary system, a controlled demolition, over to a new asset-backed, distributed ledger technology, on-demand liquidity, digital gold, Bitcoin, faster payments, XRP. It's a new financial system. It's not a big grand conspiracy. All fiat systems have collapsed over time because if you have a debt-based monetary system and you have more debt than you have income, at some point it has to end. And that's where we're at. And so that's why they're stacking Bitcoin. And here's what I believe, and you can save this video. This is what I think is going to happen, in my opinion. Do your own research. Is they're going to revalue gold. They're going to take the profit from the revaluation of gold. They're going to take that profit. They're going to put it into Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and that's going to shrink the debt. And they're going to monetize the debt with the sovereign wealth fund, and they're going to make us one of the most powerful countries in the world. Well, we are even more powerful. And it's not those who hold the gold control the world. It's now going to be those who own the Bitcoin and things like XRP that control the world. But let's get it straight. Who really controls the world? God. Jesus Christ is king. These are just asset classes. These are just tools. And everybody has a sovereignty and right to understand these tools and how to free their family financially. But let's not forget, what builds real wealth is God and Jesus Christ. Warriors, rise. Get your shit together. Love you guys.